Man is Eli Roth's newest movie, and it tells the story of an ice cream man who rolls into an idyllic summer town to create chaos. And to create that chaos, he uses the town's kids. Now, when it comes to Eli Roth movies, before this one, I've only seen 3 other of his previous movies in order. A couple years ago, that was the first Hostel, which I do not care for that movie and have never cared for that movie. The second one being Thanksgiving, which I've always thought of it as a decent slasher. And the last one being Cabin Fever, which has never really been for me, but I think it is overall fine. It's been a few years since I've seen it. So going into this movie, I had very low expectations for it, but I also went to this movie when it was the Regal Mystery Horror Night. But I went into this movie on the horror night knowing the exact movie I was walking into. Now, I think a lot of people who went to the mystery night who had no idea what they were walking into is going to have a completely different experience than I did, but I was very well prepared to see this movie and knew exactly what to expect. To make my expectations clear, at minimum, I expected this movie to be not for me, and at worst, I expected this movie to just not be good. So that does have something with my experience with this movie. And would I recommend anyone see this movie? No. Is it gonna be the worst movie of the year for me? No. But it is 99.9% most likely gonna land in my bottom 10 unless 10 more terrible movies released this year. So going into the pros for this movie, because I do have a little pro for this one, and that is this does have some solid practical gore and some solid kills. This also has a campiness feel to the town, which I do like with the campiness feel of the town, and I do like the sibling relationship between the sister and the brother. It's believable on screen for the siblings to be like that, so I do like that. But going into the mix, the biggest one right now is the ending. I know a lot of people don't like the ending, and I can understand why. There's one part that definitely does make me question the lines said and how that entirely works with the movie and why that was said to begin with. We'll get into more with spoilers for that one, but I threw in the mix. The ending, I don't know. I think acting wise, it's fine overall. You can definitely tell who's stronger and who's weakest. It's more obvious when you get to like I call it 3 main lead kids. And I'm not trying to pick on the kid actors. I think all the kid actors did fine, but you can definitely tell who was the weakest between the 3. But that is really it I have for the pros and mix. Let's talk about the negatives, which we have plenty to talk about in this section. The first one is going to be the story. A good way to describe the story, I would describe it as a mix of Nightmare on Elm Street, Terrifier, and Weapons. And what I want you to do to imagine this is I want you to take some element out of each of those movies, and that is the story of this movie. That's a good way to describe it. This also has some AI stuff in it for generative AI. Don't care for that. I'm not a fan of AI. And there's, again, also with the ending, there is an element that makes me confused of why you would even include that in the first place. It makes no sense. This doesn't have some great dialogue in it either. There's definitely some cringy lines. They overuse cursing a lot in this movie. There's one line with one kid, literally in their lines, they always have a minimum 1 curse word. Every single line. Some lines are just curse words. It's not great. This also has some jokes that do not hit. There's one with a 12-year-old girl that I believe the exact line is, oh, I'm a 12-year-old girl, of course I know how to make myself throw up. Yeah. The dad creep joke at the water park, also not great. And when you connect that kind of with the closer to the beginning shots of the kids eating ice cream in a very weird way, that doesn't pair well. There's also a death that has bugged me since I have seen it. This also definitely does fall into some cliches. Falling cliche, the one that is like the biggest one is definitely loud when you know someone when you're in danger. There's one scene where this girl gets some news and she makes the biggest loud sound possible. yelling even though she's running from something. And there are multiple moments in this movie where just so many cliches like that are very, very annoying. But that is really it.
In that same scene, there's also a bad OF joke.
For the negatives, and that is just the best way to describe the negatives of this movie. Which again, like I like to remind everyone, I went into this movie knowing I was watching. So people who went into this movie not knowing what watching, different experience. So going into the spoilers for this movie, let's talk about the story. And the way like I described the story earlier with the movies taking bits of them, you have Nightmare on Elm Street Borrowed, you have a similar backstory with the Ice Cream Man, except the Ice Cream Man is innocent versus Freddy Krueger is not. Terrifier, similar manners with the Ice Cream Man and the gore. And weapons, you have the kids possessed. And that is why I described it that way, because that is like when you break down the story and what it reminds you of. That's a good way to break it down. You also again have the relationship with the priest and the Ice Cream Man. So the priest basically gave him a deal and said, I will give you this if you do I will give you this so you can get revenge, but you have to give me your soul.
Editing me here, I thought that I said it, but apparently I didn't. So the Ice Cream Man wants revenge because the kids lied and said he was doing stuff to them when he wasn't. It was someone else. So he came back to the town when they were adults to get revenge.
And the ending, of course, when the kid, first off with the ending here, why would the Ice Cream Man having control over this kid have who was the kid's friend go and tell them, hey, this is all a setup, this is a setup, and like switch all of a sudden? That makes absolutely no sense. You also, and then you have them when they realize what they did to the parents, because the siblings, and their parents, and you have the ending, which I don't really mind totally, the ending of him, like the kids like following him out from there. I don't really mind that part of the ending, but yeah, it's a lot. They also had an extra, like a post-credit scene or something like that, where basically it was someone like getting away or rolling away from earlier in the movie. I couldn't exactly remember where they even were in the movie, if I'm being honest. The dialogue again is pretty bad. The bulimia line is probably a good way to describe what kind of jokes that they use in the movie. And the thing with the death that honestly stands out, that I have to raise my eyebrow with all of the other stuff that I mentioned, with like the jokes and what they do, is the stone death. That it does not sit right with me, like at all. This is just not a great movie, really. So that is it for this review on Ice Cream Man. Comment down below if you saw Ice Cream Man, if you are gonna go see it or skip it. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys soon with a brand new review.